Okay, let's talk a little bit about tool storage or socket organization. So I made these. They're all they are is a piece of wood that's 3/4 inches thick, and the reason that I use this wood is because I had it. It's scrap wood from something else, and then I bought these dowels, and then they just, so these are 3/8 dowels, obviously, and they're perfect. And then I just put them in place where I wanted them. They're not, I should say, they're not evenly spaced, right? So this distance is more than down here, right? So this distance is obviously closer than this distance, and that's to fit them. I did it in CAD to kind of figure out so that equally the distance between each one is the same. And I didn't use the chrome ones to figure that out because they're thinner. I used the Impact because they're fatter. These are my Sunex ones. So these are these are the Sunex ones, and these are all Sunex. So it's the deeps, mid-lengths, shallows, and super small. I wish every brand did this, had these 4 options. But anyway, so I used these fatter ones to figure out the distance, and then they're equally spaced in between each one. And once I had the pattern, then I just extended it to the chromes. You might ask yourself, I have a video on this guy. This is from Harbor Freight, but I've seen Amazon, you can get different colors with this type. I'm sure this is common, the 19, and just, I mean, not that it was the 19, but it was one of them broke off. It still holds it, right? There's just no peg there. And so these are great. I have a video about them, explaining some of the things I like and don't like. But I like the fact that you can see right here, I can see real clearly the markings. So if you look, I can see real clearly, you know, what the size is, and you get both of them, right? And so I don't have to, it's big. It's not a little, like the little pegs that the more common ones use that come out. Those are nice because you can see the size of each socket, but it's small, and so this is just bigger. I like that I can just, when I know what size I need, I can just grab it. I don't have to twist. I don't have to pop it. It's on a pin that just comes right out. I saw that like Westling machine, right? Theirs are really nice, very well built, but they don't have the label, and so you have to either put the label on the bottom or not have a label at all. And I wanted to have a label so that I didn't have to look at the socket and make sure that what it is before I grab it. I know that if I grab it, that's the 16. You know, this is the 16. However, the problem with this is that when I was starting to look at sizes, or looking at the different types of sets that I could get, I mean, I filled this one up, but I had to buy it. Like, this is a Duralast, you know, this is a Quinn. I think most of these are, no, that's a Husky. I might have the abomination of a new Craftsman in here. Hold on, I think let me find the new Craftsman. Husky. Was it a 9? Oh yeah, there it is. The new Craftsman. I did that on purpose. Tekton. Anyways, this is the conglomeration of different sets. And it's because I was trying things out and I was trying to fill an old set. And this is what I ended up with. Anyways, most sets don't go, especially 3/8, they don't go to 20. And so if you have a 20 spot, and you buy, you get a bunch of these for all the different sockets I got, I'd have a lot of 20s empty. Also, they go 6 and 7, and for 3/8, I mean really an 8 and a 9 are stretching it. I think for 3/8, you could usually start at 10 and be fine. But I decided I wanted to. Most sets go 8 to 19, right? In 3/8, and so some of them go bigger, and this won't cover bigger. Some of them are, but anyways, 8 to 19 was is the most common, and so you're either going to have to, if you get this, you're either going to have open spots, which some people don't care. To me, it drives me crazy. So that's a personal flaw. So anyways, that's the biggest problem, is that these two plus the 20. I didn't want that, and I didn't want to have all these empty spaces. So I've decided to make my own to fit better. Also, and because of that, look how much I save a little bit of space. If I compare these two sides side by side, let me move it over. If I line them up, there's that much space that I'm saving in my toolbox by not having these two that I'm going to have them in my 3/8, or not 3/8, my 1/4 inch set. So anyways, that's why I didn't just buy this, or let's just buy a bunch of these. So I decided to make one, and after lots of thought, this is what I came up with. So you'll notice that the numbering is on this side, and this is just wood, and this is the thinnest I could find that was pretty sturdy. But the letters are on this side, and I'll show you why in a second. But all it is these pins. Let's get a little bit closer. So if you look at these pins, they're not a straight dowel. You buy these already made. They're hardwood. And the reason I went with that is that it has it's a little bit loose, and it slides on pretty easily, but still you still have to pull straight up. And they're already pre-cut for the most part, so I didn't have to cut 1,000 dowels. And then 3/8. The only reason I use 3/8, you can use 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch would have worked. This is scrap wood, so I used the scrap wood. And it goes 8 to 19. So here's some other options, obviously, that I could have used, and here's why I didn't use these. So this rail I got this was a gear wrench rail. I got it when I bought these gear wrench mid-lengths. So the problem, I don't like these. These are just friction fit with a ball detent, or there's a ball detent in the square, and So if I put my hand over it, right, I'm holding it down, and then I pull this up, it comes right up. It's not hard. But if I grab this one, and this is it's weighted down. So you always have to hold the other one, and let's 2 hands lift. Or if it's in the middle, I can grab it. Right, that's easy. But it's not as easy as one-handed. So I don't like these that have the ball detents, or even the really cheap ones that have the metal, like you get from Harbor Freight, that have the spring, the metal spring that the Harbor Freight's had for years and years. That's the same thing. You have to, it either just doesn't stay on and doesn't hold your sockets up like this does, and it also doesn't sit up like this. But it's, or it either has too much retention or not enough. So I don't like this. Also, obviously, there's no size markings, but this is the biggest one, right? The other one, this is a nice one. I got this one with the Sunex, these small ones. Now this one, they're on good. So if you want a rail that's like that, that you're gonna put on the side of your toolbox like this, it's not magnetic, but some of them are. You can get them that are magnetic. And this one, I don't know, I guess it's easier. You twist it, and then it comes off without lifting it up. Now so it has good retention, and then you twist it, and then you pull it. And that's pretty cool. There's nothing wrong with that. The one thing I worry about it is that they're plastic, and because you're doing this a lot, eventually they're gonna wear out. And you can buy new ones, I'm sure. You can buy new ones, and they're easy to replace. And so if you really like this feature, you'll have to replace it eventually, but you can buy a whole bunch of just buy a whole bunch of these extras, and no problem. But I didn't want it to have to do that extra step, and I didn't want to have something that wore out that quickly. So that's why I like the pegs. Also, if you look, see how much extra here that you have to either fill it up with something, or you can cut them off. This one, this is aluminum, and then the pieces are plastic, and then it has this end cap, and it looks like it's removable, and so you could easily cut it where you want, and then take this and put it down. So you can reduce it a little bit, although you can't put a piece on the end cap, so you're always going to have whatever the end cap is. Of course, you can always just take the end cap off completely, not a problem. So these are nice, but I didn't want that. I didn't want to do that. So it's all personal preference. And then, of course, you have the Westling machine ones, and theirs are really nice too. I mean, basically this is a copy of their design, right? Other than it's wood, and theirs is aluminum, nicely machined aluminum. Because they don't have any magnets. That's another thing, you can have magnets. And I thought about doing magnets, but this works really well for what I want it to do. So I decided that I probably won't do magnets. But this is obviously a lot cheaper. So if you're on a budget, or you can just make this. It's just a drill bit and a piece of wood and a whole bunch of dowels and some wood glue and some sanding, and you're in business. The problem with the Westling is they don't have labels as well. But you could do this with the Westling. I mean, you could always take a piece of, even a small piece of aluminum, and attach it to the side of the Westling ones and have the same thing if you wanted a nicer. These are stickers. I just bought them on Amazon real cheap. I'll probably paint these at some point. I threw this up quick just to see if it works and if I like it. Okay, so here they are in my toolbox. These are the 3/8 ones. I'll show you the 1/2 inch ones in a minute, but first, because this is kind of where the journey began, but first looking at these, I knew I wanted them to be this, you know, when I open the box I can look straight at them. And I knew I wanted to limit from 8 to 19 just so that I didn't have to buy the 6 and the 7 for every single set, because some of them don't have 6 and 7s, and so that'll just save me some headaches. If I buy a set and it does have a 6 and a 7, I just don't worry about it. Like this, these super shorts, they came with a 6 and a 7, and I just off to the side somewhere. Anyways, I realized I don't have to do a label for every single socket because it's really easy to look down rows. So if this 13, all of these are 13s, and then all of these are 13s, and it's real easy to just look down the row straight. So I don't have to have, because of that, I don't have to have a label for every single one. I'm also not covering them up. If I had a label right here in between these two, it'd be hard to get to these smaller ones, but because there's not a label there, I don't have to. Okay, also, if you see, I have the shorts here and the deeps here, and the reason is if you switch them, if you put the deeps right next to the label, it blocks it a little bit. Now for these 3/8, it's not a problem. The big problem, the same thing happens with my 1/2 inch ones, and that's kind of when I was setting up my 1/2 inch ones first, I realized that could be a problem, and so I just carried that philosophy over to here, and so I just make sure that the deeps are on the next to the back, and then the shallows are what's in front, and then it's just super clear. So I have, like these ones I showed earlier, there's no labels anywhere on this block because I just put it right in front of this block, and this has the label on it. And I'm going to put one more back here as I fill in my sets. I still need to, these will be a little bit more special case because their spacing is different, and so I might have these in the very back with different numbers because I don't have 8 to 19, I have 10 to 19, and I don't want to get an 8 and a 9. But that's my, and then I can have my, like here I have my deep, mid-length, shallow, super shallow, and then here I have like these are those gear wrench mid-length. These are my new Williams sockets, which I'm enjoying. And then I think these are the Williams as well. Yeah, these are Williams. Anyways, then you have 12 points here, 12 points. These are both 12-point Tectons, and then the rest are all 6-point. Then I have these are the Husky shallow broach, and then my other set that I showed you a second ago, that's in my cart, and that one's a deep broach. And then these Williams ones are all shallow broach. All the Tecton ones are deep broach. So that's my 3/8. Let's look at the 1/2. Okay, this is where my journey began with the 1/2 inch. Basically, I had impact. So there's none here because they're in the box on their own rack, and I'll show you those later. But I had this is the part of the Harbor Freight set, and it's great. Other than the biggest problem is that it starts, so the last one is 27 and this one's 25, so there's no 26. That's a problem. The rest are sequential. They're not skipping. The rest are sequential. They're not skipping any sizes. However, they only go up to 27, and as you can tell from this, I have, if you buy some of the Tekton stuff, you get 36s. Some of them go up to 38. But you don't have a, so I didn't have a, I wanted one of these for the bigger guys, all of them up to 38 or up to 36. I mean, I wanted all the way up to 38. So I started with this one. I realized that size wise in my toolbox I can't get, so this is 10, this small one is 10, and it goes without skipping any sizes all the way up to 36. So I built this as this is my test to see if I liked it. And basically I measured the toolbox, and then I could only fit a 36 up to 36 in this two lengths. And so I decided, just like I decided with the 3/8 size, that I'm going to stop at 36 as far as on the racks. And then I know if I need a 37 or 38 and I have them, they'll be somewhere else. Those are pretty rare. So I decided to stop at 36. Some of the sets only come up to 36. So I didn't have to buy extras. There's the other reason. Anyways, so I decided to make this one where it's kind of like an Olsa Tools that has, you know, it goes up this way and then it goes down that way. And so I did that first, and then I realized, I realized that if I put one of these boards in the front here, right, and I had this for every single set, that these ones I'd have to be, you know, there'd be something here and then I'm reaching in like this to get it. And then also if this is let's say this was a tall set, all right, here's a 21, and so let's see which one's the 21, 25 to 4. This is a 21. So let's say there's a 21 right there, then it'll block everything behind there unless I move this up really high above it. But now I'm gonna not be able to close the drawer. So after I built this piece, I like the fact that you have 10 to 25, and then I like the, and then 26 to 36. And so what I eventually came up with was splitting them and having a whole bunch of rails that were just 26 to 36 and a whole bunch that were 10 to 25. Let's go look at that. So this is how I realized, how I was working with, or before I started making this, but this is how I came up with this concept with the 3/8. Is that, so I split these up into this first, this from this one, this one, this one, this one, these four. You probably can't see there's the short 12 points down here, chrome, but there's 4 rows here, and I just do the same thing. So these are 23, this is 23, this is 23, 23, 23. So I just look at this one and I go across and I can find, I know what size that is. The same with 20, whatever size it is, right? And then if I split it up, and then I did the other part for these are easier because there's less of them. But here's 27, and they're all 27s. Right now I just have 4 sets. I also know that, so these are my, again, my 12 points. I only go up to 32. These are all extras that I'm just sticking here. Like here's the 37 and 38 of this other set. I'm just sticking here. Won't fit. These don't fit. I'm not going to store them there permanently. Anyways, I'm going to I need to buy some from Tekton. I'm gonna buy 33 to 36. Anyways, so I just made, like, this is a set of 3. So I decided to do them in sets of 3. So there's 3, and then all the same size. This one's a set of 3. This is the one I just showed you, and I'm gonna replace this one when I get 2 more sets. I still need to get, so I have the shallow 12 points, I need deep 12 points, and then 12-point chromes, and then I have the shallow 6-point chromes, and I want to get the deep 6-point chromes, and then other than that I have the deep and shallow, a deep set of impacts and a shallow set of impacts, and they're 6-point. If I'm in impact, and I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna have, I need a 12-point for that. At some point I'll do a video on why I have 12 points, but it is nice to have them. So anyways, I'm planning to get 2 more sets. When I do that, I'll get rid of this piece, and then I will make another, I'll have to make 2, one for this size and one for these sizes, 2 more of these. That's gonna push everything this way, right? And then I'll run out. Let me move this real fast. So that's, this space right here is going to be taken up by those, and so these are going to shift over, and then I'll fill in these. So this will be completely filled all the way. This is going to go all the way up with more sockets for these, and then I'll have my 1/2 inch. I'll have my 1/2 inch that just goes all the way probably to about here, I'm guessing. I'm hoping, because that's how much it will be. So I think I measured it and it'll fit. So just 3/8 and 1/2 inch will be in this drawer, metric only. But anyways, that's my socket rails. And again, I really like that. You know, I need a 14. I opened the box, and I know that's exactly the 14, right? And plus, I can look at the tops. I know some of them are like this on other sets. They're upside down, and so it's hard to see what, you know, if you need a shallow broach, or you need a deep broach, or whatever, or you need a 12-point. I can look and tell it's a 12-point just by looking at the top. So that's why I like them sitting up this way, so I can quickly see what they are. I can just pull it. Now there's an empty spot, and so I know exactly where I need to put it back, or I need to go look for it and make sure it gets back to its home. Anyways, I've been using these for a couple months, ever since I built them, and I really like this method to organize them inside your box. This wouldn't be a great idea if you were, maybe, I don't know, they'll roll around. They will roll around a lot, so if they're just sitting in a cart and you're rolling the cart around, they'll be fine. If you are, you can't, and you can pick them up too, but there's like too many of them. If you plan to like pick them up, like here, you know, if you're gonna pick them up, then you want to put them on a single rail, and so you want different options for that. But if I'm not planning to do it with these ones, so these are mostly overflow, extra, or that special one that I need. There you go. That's my socket organizer. I don't know if I sort of did it a little bit with my standards, my SAE sizes, but I'm not gonna get this many types of SAE. I don't need to. You only need the specialty stuff with metric and working on cars. You need SAE stuff for other things, but not working on cars. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching.